But then not only do I notice who's being cared for, but I notice this is something kind of important, how they're being cared for. God promised to take care of them, did he not? But notice how they're being cared for. Look at verse 3. And the children of Israel gave unto the Levites, notice this, out of their inheritance, at the commandment of the Lord, these cities and their suburbs. God commanded, hey, I will take care of you, but then notice how he took care of them from the inheritance of the other tribe. And this is an important truth that I think many Christians oftentimes miss a blessing for themselves. Because God has promised to supply our needs, has he not? God has promised that he will build his church, has he not? But do you know how he does it? Out of our inheritance. From people like you and I. And oftentimes, we miss a blessing when we see a brother or a sister going through a situation that we could help with, and we avert that situation by saying, well, I know God's going to take care of them. Well, of course he is. But do you realize how he takes care of his people? Through you. That's how he does it. Now, God will take care of it. Now, if it's not you, God will meet the need through someone else, and they'll get that blessing. 1 John chapter 3, look at verse 16. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us. Here's the thought. And we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. Verse 17. Well, what's he talking about? But whoso hath this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. So can you see another application where you are given, presented a need, someone is brought to your attention, God lays something on your heart, you see someone struggling, you have the ability to fix that problem, but I'm just going to pray for you. Everybody understands the context of James chapter 2 is not salvation. The context of James chapter 2 is your faith doesn't help anybody else if you don't actually help them. If you just say, be warmed and filled, I know God will meet your needs, buddy, and you don't do anything, he's like, can that faith save him? No. Will God take care of him? Yes, but not through you. You're going to miss out on that blessing. Now, James chapter number 2, look at verse number 14. The Bible reads, what doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and hath not works? Can faith save him? Now don't get confused. The context will unfold, but that's not talking about salvation of your soul. And we'll see that in a moment, because look what he clarifies in verse 15. If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace and be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not worked, is dead, being alone. So he says, look, you have the ability to meet the needs of this person, and it's brought to your attention. You can see them struggling. You can see them going through a hard time. You see a need that you're able to meet, and you're like, well, I just know God's going to care for them. I'm praying for you. You see, James is rebuking people who are only praying when they themselves are the answer to that prayer.